webinar. Okay.
Okay, looking for the agenda now. Okay, this is the August 1st regular meeting of the Board of Estimate and Taxation. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Mayor Rilling,
Present.
Mr. Abrams, Mr. Camacho,
Present.
Mr. Frere,
Here.
Mr. Gilleret,
Here.
Mr. Casimis,
Here.
Mr. Abrams. 5, we have a quorum.
All right, fair enough. Start by approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes attached to our packets?
Yes.
If so, is there a motion?
I'll
So
move it.
moved.
Okay, been moved by James and Artie, I guess. All right, any changes, additions, corrections, amendments, anything like that? All right. All in favor of approving the minutes as is, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, actually, I'm abstaining. I wasn't there. All opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries unanimously with one abstention. Next item on the agenda is special appropriations. There is none. There is, however, something on the transfer agenda, section B, page 7. And there are two items. One, Corporation Counsel is requesting a transfer of $21,000 from salary and wages to other professional services, and Recreation and Parks is requesting a transfer of $33,746 from salary and wages to other contractual services. So why don't we begin with Corporation Counsel, since I see Mario here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board. Simple request here.
Ed, do we have to move them, Ed, before?
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, would you mind moving it, Troy?
So moved.
Okay.
I think that the request is self-explanatory. There are some costs that were incurred through June 30th of 2022 and need to be paid from the budget, and we propose as proposed with the change. So that I think the request is self-explanatory. Any questions for me?
No, I see there were 4 invoices totaling, I guess, the amount requested. I don't have any specific questions about that. Anyone else? Okay. All in favor of approving the transfer of $21,000 from salary and wages to other professional services, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. So
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Board. Anything else for me at this time?
I think we're good.
All right. Hope you enjoy the rest of your summer. Thank you.
Great, thank you. You too. Recreation and Parks. I don't know that item has been specifically moved, but Troy, if you would. All right, it's been moved by Troy. Ken, I believe Ken's on.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time. The City of Norwalk Rec and Parks Department, we have a contract with Laz Parking. They manage the parking for us at Veterans Park, Calf Pasture Beach, and Cranberry Park. We had the contract since 2018, and it currently goes to 2023. After some research, we were short $33,000 this fiscal year. And it seems like in 2021, there was a payment missed on the last contract. We paid $165 and the total due was $194,688 for that fiscal year. So this is actually a catch-up payment. Luckily, we did have money left over in our wages and salaries account due to some retirements and not hiring right away. So we do have the money within our budget to cover this payment. But this is, a contractual payment, and it will get us back on track with the payments and the contract with Laz.
Okay, I just have a quick question. Last year, was that money that had been presumably allocated for that payment, was there a surplus of such that that amount and or more, or at least something went to the fund balance at the end of the year?
Yes, yep. So last year there was a balance of 22,200 that was given back. And the reason why there's a little bit of difference between the 22.2 and the 33.7 is because when we had COVID, we actually hired an additional vehicle down at the beach in order to keep non-residents out of the beach. So there was a little bit of additional cost in addition to the contract cost. So that's a little bit different between the 22.2 that was given back and the 33.7 that we own now.
Okay. Any other questions? No other questions? All right. All in favor of approving the transfer of $33,746 from salary and wages to other contract services for recreation and parks, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries unanimously, and the transfer is approved.
Everyone, thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Next item on the agenda is other business, section 10, and this is a resolution. Would someone?
I think we have to do the police department for vehicles.
Oh, is there? Oh, that's right there. I apologize. Yes. Okay, look at the back page. Yes, thank you. I saw that, but I don't see it right now. Let me look for it.
Page 10 of 93.
It's on page 10. Yep.
What page is
And
it?
the documentation or the justification is right behind it.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Page 10 through 13.
right, got it. Okay. So who would like to move that item?
I'll move it.
Okay. Okay, so this is that resolution, correct? That's the capital, the special capital appropriation in the amount of $200,000 for the police department. Would someone like to move that item?
I move it.
Okay, already moves it. Madam Clerk, would you like to read the resolution before we consider it?
First resolution authorizing a special capital appropriation in the amount of $200,000 for the police department to purchase vehicles.
Okay, all right. So that's the item. Is Chief Kahalik here or someone from the police department to speak on it?
Mr. Dosimo, the budget manager for the police department is here.
Okay, I don't see him specifically on my.
Everybody, good evening. So
Oh, I see you. Yes,
the 911 communication project is coming in under budget. So the three vehicles being considered are for the chief and the two deputy chiefs. They didn't make it through the last budget process, and this is a sort of a good way to procure them. The vehicles are aging, and since we have some funds that will be left in the other account, it's a good way to get the vehicles without any additional levy to the city. It's not a transfer, it's a special appropriation, but we plan on using the money from the 911 communications account to be put in the capital cars and vans account. As you all know, 2 years ago, the cars and vehicles account was moved from operating to capital. That's why we're here. And that's kind of the long and short of it.
So you're requesting $200,000 to be taken from the police communications console account and transferred to the police cars and vans replacement account to purchase the new vehicles. Is that right?
That's exactly correct.
And how many vehicles are we talking about? Is it 3 vehicles in total?
It is 3 vehicles, and that will more than cover it. That also includes upfits and any special things that needs to be done to the vehicles. That's pretty much it.
Okay. So are there any other questions?
Is there a regular plan for replacing vehicles?
There is always a regular plan for replacing vehicles. Of course, it's kind of like the need there might be a plan to replace, I'm going to make this up, 12 vehicles in a given year, and maybe the budget allotment only allows for 10. Obviously, replace the 10 most needed vehicles that are in the worst shape. And, sometime as the year goes on, between the time that's requested and the time the funds actually exist, vehicles get into disrepair or accidents occur and things have to be moved down the line. But the short answer is yes, there is a replacement vehicle plan, which I don't have, but you can request it. I believe Lieutenant O'Connor has it. And that's kind of how we make our requests.
So are these vehicles, these 3 vehicles ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
I would say they're right on or about schedule. We actually requested them in this year's budget, and they didn't make it through the budget process. So we were asking to request them this year, but prioritization just required that we use the funds for other things, and so that's why we kind of are making this request without asking for any additional money that doesn't already exist in the capital plan.
Question. Ed?
Yes, yeah.
Mickey, what do you do with their cars after you replace them? Do you turn them into patrol cars or you just auction them off?
They're handed down the line until they get to the point where they're totally unusable, and then they're auctioned off. But
Okay.
evidently, the cars that are in use until they become unusable will go down the line to other needed divisions where they're short now or where those cars are getting into disrepair.
So are these cars the SUV cars, the SUV type cars, or that we see now on the streets mostly?
These will be the SUV type cars. That is correct.
Any other questions? Actually, I do have an additional question. My understanding is that nowadays you have to order cars really in advance. Is this one of those situations where we're not going to get these cars for another 6 or 9 months?
That's always a consideration for what kind of cars you get. And yes, you would have to order them in advance, but we will have to take something that we can get in the next 3 to 6 months. It won't be as far out as 9 months. I'm thinking about the fall. I'm a little out of my lane here, but just in discussions that I hear in staff and so on, we should be able to get these cars at least in this calendar year.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. So this is just to be clear, you're requesting a reduction in the amount of $200,000 from the police communications console account number 0921-5770-5770-C0638 for fiscal year 2022-23 to purchase 3 vehicles for the police department. And you're also requesting an increase in the amount of $200,000 in the police cars and vans replacement account 0923-3610-5777 C0665 to purchase 3 new vehicles. And the resolution as read was a resolution authorizing a special capital appropriations to in the amount of $200,000 for the police department to purchase vehicles. All in favor of that resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries and the resolution has been adopted. Thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Okay. The 8 million that's still available there, how much of that is going to be used?
I think we'll have a better idea for that maybe in the next month or so, and I'd be happy to report back to you folks. So I really don't want to just take a wild guess. The only thing that I was told is we are coming in under budget. So that's good news, and I will get more specifics for you the next time we're together, or I can send you the information when it's available.
Okay, so it's someplace between 200 million and 8 million?
200,000 and 8 million.
200,000 and 8 million.
You're on mute, Mike. You're on mute, Mickey. Or Mikey.
I think he was trying to make a joke anyway, so maybe
I
he
thought-
should be on mute.
That far apart. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make light of it. But we can definitely get you the information as soon as it's available.
I mean, do you have a sense? Is it going to be 7 million or is it going to be 1 million? Or I mean, I'm
No,
just
I-
getting
not-
curious.
It's
That's all.
not going to be 1 million. I mean, I think it's probably in the neighborhood of 6 right now. But I really, like I said, I really don't want to just take a shot and then later on, the estimate was disrespectful of the question. So like I said, it's not going to come in 5 million under budget, but it could be somewhere around 1 million. I'm not exactly sure.
And so the timing is about another month or so. You'd have the answer to that.
I believe so. I do believe we
Okay.
will have the answer to that in the next month or so.
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you all for hearing me and for the approval.
Thank you, Mr. Dustin.
I like how Henry's eyes light up when you say that.
All right. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the additional information section, financial reports. I reviewed the revenue for the narrative for June 2022, the tax collector's report. I'm not sure if anyone is here from either the tax collector's office or I guess the Oak Hills Authority. That's another report that we typically review with someone on the Zoom.
Hello, I'm not from the tax collector's office. I'm here from Oak Hills. It's Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hey.
Do you want to, we have your budget, your spreadsheet. Would you like just to give us a thumbnail?
Yeah, let me do a really brief recap of fiscal year 22, which we have on a unaudited basis, and then I'll do budget to kind of follow up on that. But the prelim look at 22 is that revenue finished about 100,000 higher on a budget of 2 million, so about 5% better. Really driven by a few more rounds than we expected. Then OPEX finished 140 lower, which is kind of great, given that more play generally means more park maintenance, all that sort of thing. 140 lower is 8% lower. So, we put these budgets together and the team really does try to find ways to beat it on the expense side. So that means that net operating income for the park came in at about 500,000, which is all combined 240 better than budget. That was for FY22, right? That's not in these documents. This is preliminary. Overall, we paid 113 to the city, inclusive of all rounds. That includes the makeup payment that we made to go back retroactive to July 1st for all rounds. And I think probably most exciting is that we put 290,000 back into the course. That was one pretty bulky project of continuous cart paths, which is going to mean that we can run carts, which generates extra revenue even when it's really soggy out there. And it also includes money for the restaurant build. So, that's kind of the, like you said, thumbnail of FY22. I can pause for questions and then go into budget for FY23.
Any questions? No questions. You want to go into budget for 23?
Sure. So we expect rounds to be down slightly. I'll speak mostly, sorry, let me get the page right. I hope we have the same agenda. I'll speak mostly to number 17 of 93. It's kind of colorful and is all in one place, all information in one place, right? So the FY23 budget is the rightmost column. We're expecting a slight contraction in rounds from the 44-ish thousand that we had last fiscal year to about 42. This is just kind of a conservative assumption. We've been through July already, which is part of this FY, and we really haven't seen much of a slowdown year over year. So, you know, that may be a little bit of a conservative assumption. I prefer to be conservative on revenue and, you know, kind of practical on expense. So, nevertheless, although we expect fewer rounds, we are expecting modest increasing in prices by about $1 per round, which is going to drive revenue higher by about $100,000 again on a budget of about $2 million. On expenses, it's a little bit higher than previous year based on personnel increases, and really this has to do with one, staffing increase, but also minimum wage increases. And we actually went above minimum wage because we're finding it difficult to hire people directly at minimum wage. So we're budgeting to be a little bit above minimum wage for all employees of the park. Then on the maintenance expense, we are budgeting a little extra for water because that can be an unpredictable thing. I'd rather not be surprised on the bad side of that. And on maintenance expense, we're also budgeting a little extra for some more expensive ag and chem that has to be used now with the pesticide ordinance. But you know, this is there's benefits beyond the money. And so, you know, we were kind of happy to adopt that, and we worked effectively with the council to put that in place. So our net op income is expected to be about 340. Really good to be in the black there. And that means we can continue to invest. So we have a capital expenditure expectation of about 170. There's nothing really bulky, no big particular item in there. It's a couple of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 items. Some revenue generating and some just maintenance that has to be done. Not maintenance, but improvements that have to be done to our properties. And then we also are planning for a pretty flat city debt payment of 110 per the modified repayment agreement from 2019. So that's all the schedule, expecting the rounds, the slight increase in our payment to $2.10 per round, and the 1% payment that we make at the end of the year on all golf revenue. So that's the thumbnail. I mean, like you know, the super thumbnail is net income positive. We get to invest, and we're left with positive cash at the end of the year.
Great.
Joe, thank you for that. This is Troy. Just a quick question. I don't have the, I just have the budget. I don't have, you usually give us that updated information for some reason. But question is on the restaurant line item. Are you guys where you want to be there? Are you happy with the arrangement you have? I know it's a sharing arrangement versus a straight lease. What is your position on that so far?
I'm happy with the license agreement that we have as written. There's one thing that we need to add to that license agreement, which is an additional schedule, a contract schedule, which is actually an expected schedule of when the restaurant's going to be open, what services it's going to provide. This is something that we've just never put in place, but it is contemplated in the existing agreement. And I'm actually meeting with the restaurant operator tomorrow to have preliminary talks about that and what's really practical. But overall, the agreement is a good agreement for Oak Hills. I mean, it's a 10% revenue share on everything but the beverage cart, and that's just because they bought the beverage cart. They kind of own it and operate it. But everything else where they're using our property, we're getting 10% of that revenue, which is a good deal.
And is that better than just getting a straight rent or lease? Have you looked what a market lease rent would be for that property?
It's difficult to say. There's kind of one comp in Stamford where it's kind of an independent operator, and the financials aren't totally transparent on that. But I think if we get it up to full speed, our budget for this year is $80,000. That's in line. This is a little smaller operation, so that's in line with what they would be adjusted for size.
80,000. Okay, that's a good number. Good luck.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, could you talk a little bit about the golf simulator revenue?
I'm sorry, there was a gargle there. What was the word?
Golf
The golf
simulator revenue?
Golf simulator revenue. This is one of our capital projects. It's these golf simulators are becoming more and more popular. It's basically a big screen net that you hit into. Computers tell you what the shot would have been. It's something that is accessible in rain. It's accessible in the winter. It's accessible at night. It has tie-ins with food and beverage concession. There's space in one of the buildings that we have at the course for 2 of these. And it does take a bit of a build, but it's about 1.5 to 2 year payback at our initial estimates. So we have CapEx involved, budgeted within the 170 to build that. I can't remember, I'm sorry, if it's 30 or 40, but it's in that zone. And then I think we have 20 or 30 expected revenue. I'm not perfect on the line items, which is just associated with that. So that's the 1.5 to 2 year payback that we expect on that.
So where
One
would the
other
building be?
thing that I really like about this is if not in use, it also gives the potential for folks to swing a club a few times prior to actually teeing off.
Where would that
where-
go? Where would that go, Joe?
Yes,
That would be
question.
in the old pro shop,
Oh,
actually making some useful revenue generating purpose out of that building.
And so there'd be two screens that you'd use?
That's the plan. I mean, we haven't seen the business case yet. One way to do it would be to dip our toe in with just one and then build the second if it's successful, or we could decide that we're going to go all in with the 2 that we have capacity for.
And it'd cost about, if it's 1 or 2, is it still gonna be $30,000 or $40,000?
No. That's so I think it's 40, and I think they're about 20 each on the build.
You get is there a break or some sort of a discount if you get 2 as opposed to 1? So if you do 1 now, 1
Yeah,
later, is it the same thing?
No, that's not scale. I mean, some places have strings of 10, 15 of these things. 2 is not exciting for a builder.
And so what would the usage be? What would you charge for something like this in order to get, so how did you get to that 20,000, I guess?
There was analysis that we got from one of the companies that puts these together. I don't remember the exact fee structure, but it was based on some expert input from a builder of these items.
So, I mean, is it, if it's open 7 days a week, 8 hours a day, is it open evenings or anything along those lines? Can you share with us?
I just don't have it in my memory right now, but
Okay.
yeah, we can write something up.
just curious, long range planning. Is there any consideration you guys considering ever putting a golf driving range in there? I know there was talk in the past, but I'm just curious if there's any discussion in your guys' side on that.
There's no current discussion to install a range.
I think there was a lot of feedback last time from the community, from surrounding
Correct.
properties. Is there any other question? All right. I think that's it, unless Lisa's on the phone or Henry, you'd like to chime in
Thank you.
and give us, an update on one of these things, or
Well, we're in the middle of raising $90 million in AAA bonds. And we caught a break in that I'd say in the last 6 weeks, rates have gone down by 1/4 point. Municipal bond rates have diverged from treasuries. So even though treasuries have strengthened, munis have gone down. So we might catch a break. There seems to be good demand after the June 30 and July 31 redemptions. So we think that demand, there were issuers who held back in July, waiting for the Federal Reserve move. So we think there aren't that many AAA issuers in Connecticut that come to market at this time. There seems to be healthy demand. What we did this time was we had a negotiated deal with FHN, who led our deals for the last 2 years, but we assembled a syndicate, which includes Raymond James, Baird, and Piper. So given that we're borrowing 90 million, in the past, we've borrowed at most 45 to 50. We wanted to make sure we had sales coverage so that we got good distribution. We set up the commission structure. So if one of the brokers issues less than their commitment and allocation, they would earn less. And if someone sells more, they get more. So there's an incentive for them to sell it. And straight vanilla, full faith and full credit geo. And this addressed out of about 40 million in this year's capital budget, we're probably borrowing for about 20 million. And the rest, the 70 million, is starting to borrow for our large backlog of authorized but not bonded projects. Again, we borrow not based on the capital projects or the capital budget, but borrow based on cash flow expectations. So we solicit that. We thought 90 million was the right number, and that's what we're doing. So we have a call with the bond rating agencies, 3 calls really, next Monday. And the subsequent week, we will be pricing the deal, and we're hoping for good results.
Great, good news. Is there anything else? Any other questions? Okay. There's nothing else. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. Moved, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good
Great.
night.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.